friends, Miss Michelle here, and I am here to read a story since it's Monday and it's Storytime Monday. And this week we're talking about bugs and insects and all kind of creepy crawly things. And I thought I'd read one of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors, Eric Carle, and he's the guy who wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and he wrote so many other great books, Brown Bear, and all sorts of books. And he does some wonderful artist work. Can you guess what this is? This bug is called a click beetle, and that's why this book is called The Very Clumsy Click Beetle. So let's see. Let's open this up. See what I mean about the pictures? Aren't they great? And you might even want to draw a picture from the book that you see. I know you can draw some great sunshines, and that would be a good thing to do on this rainy day. One fine morning, a young click beetle decided to go for a walk. At noon, it climbed up and down a flower. In the afternoon, it rummaged through a pile of pebbles. In the evening, it crawled among the tall blades of grass. Look at him up on the tippy top of that tall blade of grass. Ah, look at that. And when it turned night, the young click beetle crept up a tree. After a while, it got tired and fell to the ground. It landed on its back. Uh-oh. The young click beetle tried very hard to turn over onto its feet, but it couldn't. Help! It cried. All along, a wise old click beetle had been watching the young click beetle. Tomorrow morning, I will teach you how to click and flip through the air and land on your feet, said the wise old click beetle. In the meantime, you may as well go to sleep. Good night. So he had to wait all night for that other beetle to teach him how to turn over. The next morning, the wise old click beetle said, "Look at me, this is how it's done." First, it turned onto its back, and then with a loud click, it flipped through the air and landed on its feet. "Now you try it," said the wise old beetle. "Thank you. That looks easy," replied the young click beetle. Just then, an earthworm stuck his head up out of the ground. "Look at me," said the young click beetle. And with a loud click, let's see what happens. It flipped through the air and landed on its back. Wasn't quite what he meant to do, was it? "How very clumsy of me," said the young click beetle. Just then a turtle ambled by. "Better luck next time," said the turtle. "Keep trying." "Look at me," said the young click beetle, and with a loud click, it flipped through the air and it landed on its back. What's that? Yeah, that's a snail. "How very clumsy of me," said the young click beetle. Just then a snail slithered by. "Don't worry," said the snail. "You'll get there." "Look at me," said the young click beetle. And with a loud click, it flipped through the air, but it landed on his back. "How very clumsy of me," said the young click beetle. Just then a mouse scurried by. "You need a little more practice," said the mouse. "Look at me," said the young click beetle. And with a loud click, do you think he's going to do it this time? Let's see. It flipped through the air, but it landed on his back. Just then, "Oh, what is this?" The young click beetle had never seen anything so big, and it could not move. It was scared. What is he seeing, do you think? It's a big foot to a little click beetle, isn't it? Quick, quick, and flip, cried the wise old click beetle who was watching. And the young click beetle clicked and flipped through the air. Wow. And did 3 graceful somersaults and landed on his feet. Look at you, shouted the wise old click beetle. You have done it. That is such a great story. I love Eric Carle's stories, and that one is a good lesson for us too, because sometimes when we're trying something new, it can be frustrating if we're trying something new and it's hard for us to do, just like maybe pumping on the swing. When we first learned to swing, we just sat there on the swing and we had to ask somebody to push us. And sometimes there was somebody that could push us and sometimes there wasn't. But then as we learn to move our legs and pump our legs, we learn to keep the swing going. And now we can get it going by ourselves, can't we? So if you haven't yet, you can keep trying, and I'm sure you will. Same thing with coloring and writing and learning. If you keep on trying, you're gonna get it. So that's the main thing. Gotta keep on trying just like the click beetle did. So I have another story I thought I'd read to you. Since today's a rainy day, it's a good day for stories. So this one is called Bug Safari, and it's a very colorful book. So let's see what bugs we can find on our bug safari. The events described here actually happened to me. The things I learned are recorded to the best of my memory. We can still observe and learn from the great ancestors of the very ants I saw that day, so very long ago. Well, last summer. That was a long time ago, wasn't it? I was lost in a bug-infested jungle one hot summer day. I was all alone looking for a way back to base camp when I saw a long line of, what are those? Marching black ants. Where could they be going? It looked like an ant safari. Was this a way out of the jungle? I decided to follow. Look at those ants. They're just all marching in a line. In all my travels, I had never seen anything like an ant safari. Some of the ants carried things to eat, such as leaves, seeds, or bits of other insects. The ant safari was in a hurry to get somewhere. The ants didn't even look up at the big dragonfly that buzzed over our heads. We headed deeper and deeper into the dark, unknown jungle. Do you see those ants and what they're carrying? They're carrying a lot of different things, aren't they? Let's see what happens next. I crawled over the rocks and through mud. I had to find out where the ants were going. The safari passed under the flowers that were humming with honeybees collecting pollen. I was measuring one of the ants with my ruler when the other ants zoomed past me, and a slow-moving dung beetle, I noticed that the ants talk to one another by touching antennae on top of their heads, right up here. They have 2 antennas, and when their antennas touch, that's how they talk to each other. They all knew where they were going. We were moving quickly. But to where? What?
Then I saw them up ahead, red ants. The black ants were fighting them. The tiny red ants were fierce and bit the black ants. The black ants stood their ground and battled for several minutes until the outnumbered red ants finally ran away. One of the black ants took charge. I called it the general. The wounded were treated and the safari continued. Uh-oh, I see a frog. I was baking in the sun. I had a drink from my canteen. Just one sip left. The ants became very excited. They had come upon a toad sitting in the middle of their path. Most of the ants ran around it, but a few of them got zapped. Why would they keep going with all of this danger? Where could they be going? Wonder where they're going. And look, that long tongue of that toad zapped the ants right up because they like to eat ants, frogs and toads do, and other insects too. Then I saw it, a giant green mantis in the bush above the ants. One of the ants was plucked up and eaten, but all of the others marched ahead. They passed another sticky spider web, spotted beetles, and noisy crickets that made a chirping noise as we passed by. I picked my way through the jungle. I had scraped my knees and cut my finger and needed medical attention. I bravely pressed onward, hoping I would one day see another human being. See this big green bug? That's the praying mantis. Ooh, look at that. All of a sudden, a hairy black spider pounced in front of the ants. The general led the safari around the giant, but I feared the worst. I hid my eyes and ducked for cover. Then, with a swooshing sound, the spider was gone. I looked up to see its 8 legs wiggling in the beak of a robin. We were all safe for the moment. The general marched on. So now we know that birds like to eat spiders, at least robins do. I was out of water, famished and covered with bites. Then I heard a faint sound in the distance. I was perfectly still in the brush so I could listen very carefully. A lone mosquito buzzed past my ear. Finally, I heard the call. A human voice. Base camp! Lunch was ready. To my surprise, I discovered where the ants were going. Where do you think the ants were going? I love a good safari, and so do the ants. Those ants were going right to the picnic lunch that person was having. So Friday is our picnic lunch, and I hope that everyone can join us for our celebration of what a wonderful year that we've had at preschool this year and in my class. And I've been so grateful that you've been in my class. God made each of you special, and I am going to be so excited for Friday to come and for us to have our picnic. I'm going to find a place outside, I hope, that I can put a picnic blanket down and I can bring my lunch and I'll bring my computer so that I can see all of you and eating your lunch at your picnic. And we'll all be together just through the computer. So I wonder if there'll be any ants or other insects there. We'll have to be on the lookout. So until I see you next time, I love you, I miss you, and I wish you well.